Hello, people of God. It's your one and only Raymond Yusuf, aka Timothy. I am coming here to plead with you because my leg is amputated. And I need to fix it. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel so that we can get YouTube ad revenue and our video will be recommended to more people. And God will help us will make our life better. Thank you very much.
7 million people for this life!
Even like you cannot look down on it.
Hey! Jesus!
I'm just gonna scatter wedding like that and come out with the blood.
How you wanna know?
Welcome to another edition of Let's Talk Films. So let's talk films, shall we?
A cliché is an element of an artistic work, saying, or idea that has become overused to the point of losing its original meaning or effect, even to the point of it being irritating, especially when at some earlier time it was considered meaningful, novel, or even cool. So guys, today we're talking about clichés and originality. What is cliché in film? And what is originality? Start with Godwin.
Thank you for that question.
Okay, one guy.
Like usual, I will start with reading something I actually have on my phone here.
Trash.
So, this piece is titled So like I was saying, just found it. This piece is titled The Blessed Unrest. And while I was watching a Sundance panel just last month, it was a Sundance panel between Native Americans who are in like higher places and also a woman who works with an agency that tracks down governments who do corruption stuff. And it was quite an interesting panel, almost 2 hours long. And the moderator actually brought up this piece, which is like The Blessed Unrest. And it was actually a piece originally by Martha Graham, a very renowned dancer who is like, I think she has passed away now, I don't know, to not give wrong information, but she's like literally well known. And this piece is actually is a conversation Martha was having with Agnes. Agnes Emily is also like a dancer, fellow dancer. And I'm just going to read what she says before I answer that question. So, a lot was said in the conversation. I would advise you to read. It's a very popular piece, but I'll go straight to like what caught my attention. So, there is a vitality, a life force, an energy, a quickening that is translated through your action, through you into action. And because there's only one of you in all of time, this expression is unique. And if you block it, it will never exist through any other medium, and it will be lost. The world will never have it. So, what Martha was literally trying to say to Agnes here was for a fact that dance is art, right? And no single dance that has been done by any person is the same. No matter how choreographed that dance is, no matter how well you go over the dance, it's always different. There's always a little bit of difference. There's always an arm push that's better than the last one that goes into dance and all that stuff. And the moment you stop yourself from doing a particular dance move because you don't want to, the world is never going to have that particular dance move. Every single thing you do in art is unique. My stand on cliché and originality has always been the same. Even though in some cases I actually outburst. I'll give you a list about a particular case probably later in the conversation. But I think when I came across this space, it changed my perspective on everything. I believe, I believe, I believe nothing is the same. Like nothing is actually the same. Looking at it from a very, very technical perspective, nothing that's like done in this earth is the same. Even though we have the same ideas, it's technically not the same because I'm obviously doing things different than you. And there's a point that comes, which is like the idea format. If you're looking at it from the point of like, oh, I got this idea first, it's something that has actually been quite a very broad topic in like the art space. And I won't say I have the answer to like that, but I believe everything is unique, just like from what I've read today. It's like a guiding principle for me. Also, while watching something else, I came across Greta Gerwig, very renowned filmmaker. According to her, she said, the most important things in life are cliché. Now that changed my perspective on what I presume to be cliché. So these things have been like guiding how I see things so far, even though, you know, I have been seeing things like in a whole different aspect before. I will give examples later on, but like I said, I think everything technically is different in the whole world. We inspire ideas to inspire ideas.
I will begin with a quote, and it is, knowledge only respects through art. Cliché, just like the definition I have given there, says that it's something that has been done occasionally, right, and it has lost its value, right? I think it's quite different from what Godin is actually talking about. I don't think that is cliché. You know, you can pick something from somebody, you can dance somebody's dance, and it evolves into something else that becomes special. That's what Godin just said concerning that quote he just said, blessed unrest, kind of resonates with me too, right? But cliché is something that actually makes everybody get tired of something, that makes people cringe at something. And I personally do not think clichés are a good thing, right? Now, for the question of originality, a quote has been flying around for like all these centuries, and it's the fact that a good artist steals, a good artist does not copy, right? I'm saying it in another sentence, but that's not it, Isha. But you guys understand what I'm trying to say. I hope so. Now, everything that has been made in this life, right? Maybe apart from their Einstein backwards, right? Everything that has been made in this life was created from something. There is no original idea in this life. There is no original idea in this life.
How do you say so?
I mean, I don't know. I have the answer in my head, right? But to actually bring it to life now, you understand? It's hard for me, in the sense that, you know, something that we have not seen before, right? For a lot of people, things that I have not seen before is what the world has termed to be original, right? You understand? And the funny thing about original is that, okay, let me rephrase now, but some things can be actually original, right? Like actually original that I've never seen anywhere before, right? Then some things can be referenced from something and been formed into what seems original. Something like, will I say like the Avatar film, for the time that it was released, right? It was original in the context of like how Avatar was released, right? But you know, you see a synopsis of like a film like Avatar now, and you realize that it's kind of like similar with some other films that have been made. But the way Avatar was made kind of makes it seem like very, very original and true, right? So now, referencing my earlier quote, which means knowledge only respects true art, is the fact that if everybody was woke in this life, right? And when I say woke, like everybody knows everything in this life, right? A lot of the things that we respect, we say it's original, might not mean anything to us, right? Because a good example for my life is, it has happened to me several times, and is I saw a certain group of dancers recreate this dance move, right? And for the moment I was seeing them, okay, this dance move, it was special to me. Like, these people are very creative. It meant so much to me. Then, couple of weeks later, I see that this dance move was actually copied and pasted from another previous dance move. And at that moment in my life, their work did not mean anything to me. So, if James Cameron's Avatar was made in this century, I honestly think like it will not make the kind of money it made. It will not be received like critically. It's not be critically acclaimed like it was in this century, but like as of the time that it was made, it had this impact. You understand? Everybody saw the trueness in it, and it was embraced. A lot of things in this our world are not original. Even we as filmmakers, critics as filmmakers, a lot of our works cannot be said to be actually original. They are all referenced from something and stuff. So that original word is a very powerful word, and cliché is actually a very powerful word. And I do not like clichés, right? I do not like it at all. But you could pick a cliché and make it into something wonderful, because then nobody will even know it's a cliché, right? Yes, that's it. You can pick a cliché and make it into something wonderful, and nobody will know it's a cliché. But I do not like clichés because they make things lose their essence.
I intentionally did not speak on cliché. All I did was talk about the quote I heard about Greta saying the most important things in life are cliché. And it's important I did not speak on cliché because I see originality and cliché obviously as two different topics that are wide apart from each other. Even though in some sense they actually still come back, they're interwoven at some point, but like they're very wide apart from each other. And just like I said, I will always highlight one thing. Looking at it from a technical term, right? An original stuff is something that's different from the next. That's what I literally understand by original. Something that's different from the next. And if you want to look at the technicality of like how things are made, how art is formed,
Different from the next or different from the previous?
Different from the rest.
different from the rest, that's original.
Like I thought you said different from the next.
Yeah, it could be in that time. These two guys, right? This guy is different from this guy. He's original in his own sense. This guy is original in his own sense. This guy is original in his own sense. It's like looking at human beings. We are all blacks, but like we're not twins, right? Twins are twins,
No,
but
the
like
reference doesn't work at all. No,
who gets my reference?
No,
Who gets my
You say
reference?
that
This
it's
is
different.
this is what I'm
you
trying to
say
say.
it's different from the next.
This is what
Is
I'm
that
trying
what
to
you
say.
said? I
Let
just
me
want
say.
to know, is it the word?
This is
Different
what
from
I'm trying to
the
say.
next
This is
or
what I'm trying
different
to
from the rest?
Two things are not the same.
No, I just want to hear that quote.
No.
That specific quote. Is it different from the next or different from the rest?
Two things are not the same. So like I was saying,
Simple question now.
two things are not the same in the sense that one is obviously different from one, which makes them original in their both sense. Brings me back to this quote that I talked about. Moves, right? It's so little a comparison, but it's deep rooted in art generally, which is dance moves that we make, right? We come here and we shaku shaku every day. The shaku shaku you do every single shaku shaku you do, or every single dance move you do is different from the last one you do. So I see it in a sense where every single thing that is done on earth is original in some sense. If you replicate an art painting, that art painting is different from the art painting that is an original, right? It's different in its own sense. It's different in its own sense. The art painting is an art painting that has detail that makes it original. This other art painting is different in its own sense. Like it's printed on paper. It's different from this other one. So if you look at things this way, they are all different, literally, right? So that's what I'm trying to explain. For cliché, right?
But wait. Something being different from the original, does it make it original?
Are you seeing it from the sense I'm trying to talk about? What is original?
Something that I've not seen before, but something that stands on its own. right? Because you're saying that, okay, let me say I drew Mona Lisa now, but
Yeah.
Mona Lisa was from the original painting.
Yeah.
So you're trying to say that my drawing of Mona Lisa is original
In its own sense.
in its own sense.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense.
It makes sense.
It doesn't.
Too much
At all.
sense.
Because
I
we're
actually
defeating
I want
the...
to tell you something. Do you know? You see what Gorin just said about? Now liars they talk that.
Exactly, it's they call a spade a
Do you know why?
spade.
Do you know why I say liars say that? Because this girl that, let's say Capital this thing created a video for this girl. This that they created Tokens video, and I know most of us were angry at that video because it's like recreating Tokens video. So now we'll say it's original because
In its
it's
own
not
sense.
the same thing.
Like,
But we know
Bro,
where the
that's
video is
a
coming
lie.
from. But we know where the video is coming
We know where the video is coming from. We saw that even the camera angles, you are recreating the same thing.
from.
So don't come and tell me it's original.
But
in
now
its own sense.
look at it in the most, look at it in the sense that you actually neglect, right? Do you have the same people in those both videos?
No.
no, this is not...
That's an liar.
No! Okay, read on. You only
Oh.
mentioned the meaning of cliché, right? You didn't mention the meaning of original.
Yeah.
You understand? So, this thing was a reference from something. As far as a reference of something, there's nothing like, don't forget the talk of, maybe it's your own way of like say quoting it. You understand? But let's forget the talk of original in its own sense. Like, it's not original, me. It's just, it is what it is. It's not bad that it's not original. Oh. It is not bad that it's not original, but it's not original. That's just the thing.
So that's why I'm asking, what is your definition of original? So do you think there's a source to like originality, like this particular thing stands as original and every other thing that comes from it is a replica? Is that what you're trying to say?
Not everything that comes from it can be a replica. Okay, now a replica, a replica is something that is duplicated, right? Copied and pasted, right? You understand? The same thing. Do you understand? Now, like I said in my previous statement, you can look at an original stuff and pick something from that original stuff and create your own original thing that will be very different from that stuff.
No.
And that makes it stand original.
Nah.
So nobody will go and buy one Ikorodu guy painting Mona Lisa because it's original in his own sense. It's not.
So you see what I'm trying to say? I understand how you see originality. That's how everybody sees originality. But this is how I'm telling you I'm seeing originality. I see originality in its own sense. You understand? Every single thing is original in its own way. That's what I'm saying now. A replica is original in its own way. Like, do not miss my words. That's why I'm very, very specific when I say looking at it from a technical perspective. You understand? Everything is original in its own sense. Right? Talking video we're talking about, talking video we're complaining about, yeah. That's why I use the example of I did the same people in the video. Right? Was that video shot like in the same location? Right? Was that video shot with the same camera? You understand what I mean? Like, it's look deep, like look beyond what
Okay, so
the
now you
word.
know the
No,
funny
I'm talking, excuse me. Look beyond what the word calls original and look at the technical, deep-rooted aspect of everything. There is something different in that particular thing.
The funny thing is, I actually just missed what I wanted to say, but the funny thing is, I feel like the humans that came before us, right, in the 1800s and 1900s, like I'll just reference, Einstein is the most popular person I know, personally, right? All these people had to think. We are in a world where humans do not think, and we are now want to be using this. Okay, let me not say humans do not think about, but a majority of humans do not want to actually access the fact that you can think up something special on its own.
I'm lost.
But rather
I'm
go
lost.
and pick something from somewhere.
I'm lost actually.
Okay, so now, when people like that Einstein, right?
Yeah.
Let's say there was no electricity or there was no physics something or Faraday. I know that there's a Faraday, blah blah blah. There was no electricity, right? You understand? These people had to actually go through the thought process.
I've created electricity.
Exactly, right? And making this thing work, but presently, relating to this original in its own sense term, right? People are not making use of the fact that they can think up something just like these people and that will make human beings advance, but instead want to be referencing this backward thing. Then I
so
start,
are
like,
you?
do you know that? Do you know
I'm
how?
asking you a question.
Do you know
here.
how this thing actually makes me feel bad about when they now say, because it's kind of it's relating to something that I've heard a couple of times, and they say it's original in the African sense.
Okay, so now you talked about Faraday. Good example. Faraday invented light. I don't know if he invented light, but Faraday's light. Let's use an example. Faraday's light that he invented, and now you said something. You say we live in a world where people don't want to think for themselves, right? And I'm going to go back to a reference you made. You pick from an original and go make another original. Abi? So are you trying to say what everything they don't make for this life now, because it somewhat come from Faraday, you know, the original? Are you trying to like speak back on like what you spoke on earlier?
I'm not speaking on it. Do you know how hard it is for you to pick from an original and replicate something different that references that original?
I don't understand what you're saying.
A thought process goes into picking something from an original and include it in something that becomes an old original on its own. These people are actually thinking of a way to make it different from this original, rather different from the people that will actually just go and replicate everything. I will not say it's original in their own sense.
So that is it. Processes still go into replications. Like you cannot look down on it.
Processes go into replication.
You can't say because one process is more harder.
Processes
then
go
this process
into
is less harder. This less process.
Okay, so
is
now
not
wetin me I dey try
process.
talk na say I do not vibe with anything that is called. I personally, you can vibe with it too, but I personally do not believe there's anything like original in its own sense and stuff like that.
Yeah, so
original is original.
Yeah,
you don't have to add in its own sense to it to
so
justify that it's original. Me and God need to settle these arguments 101. We need to sit down over a cup of coffee, but that's not all that matters now. Please, we have a Patreon page, and we would not mind your support for us to keep making more content like this, and so that we can buy Sprites while we're arguing like this. Please support us on our Patreon page. To get to our Patreon page, you can click the link above, and it's also in the description. www.patreon.com/thecritics001.